Hi guys, Nick from Next Level Wargaming, and again, as promised, we are coming back with a new board. It's a big board. It's 1.80 m by 1.20 m, divided in two separate boards, so you can also play them as two separate battlefields. The whole board is created with the Geek Gaming Scenic range, and during the game we will point out every product that we have used and every step of the build. And furthermore, we have these massive, gigantic, almost scaly feeling looking ruins. And during the video we will explain you how to recreate these effects so that after 3D printing they will look also realistic and good when they are finished for putting it on your table. So everything you see here is available through our shop, STL files, Geek Gaming range. If you want to support us or recreate this board, it would help us out a lot. Please like and subscribe. Put in the comments below what you think about it and what we should do next. See you after this.
Next Level Board Gaming.
Alright, so as you can see, we are starting off with 3D printed files. As mentioned before, you can download them through our website. And with hot glue you can perfectly glue these pieces together. I know PLA gluing is sometimes a difficult thing to do, but if you first prime them, the primer will stick to the plastic and then you can glue them with almost any adhesive as the primers will be glued together. Then we have the PVA glue mixed with water, so water down. As you can see, there is no real measurements for it, just do like I do in the video. Add some tile grout, this is the soil brown tile grout, mix them together. The PVA is giving extra strength to the tile grout itself, so it is more adhesive. And keep mixing it together and filling it more with tile grout until you get this pasty consistency. And then just slap it on all over the board. As this tile grout paste is also a very good gap filler, so all the little lines, all the little printing lines will be more or less vanished after you have give it a good thick coat with tile grout PVA. And here, as a structure for underneath the MDF board, I took a canvas. You can buy these canvases for very cheap. Sometimes it's like 8 to 9 euros. And just rip off the canvas and you have a perfect frame to put on your MDF. And the benefits for this is it's all nicely rounded and it's soft material and it's very lightweight. So just glue it together with some PVA glue, a few screws, and you're done. Then on top of the MDF board, use a lot of PVA glue and we put some Styrodur, some foam. This is meant as a base for building up your board, so for all the shrinkage you are going to get, so all the modeling compounds, all the PVA glues, all the tile grouts you're going to put on it later on, it will all have some shrinkage, and yeah, the foam will prevent the board from bending. As you can see here, this is a new product that I use. I have never used it before, but it's the PLA Gloopy. And they were promising us to have a very fast and very strong connection with PLA. Yeah, so for gluing PLA. And to be honest, they're 100% true. So it's a very, very strong and good way to bond PLA. So just give it a thick coat on either side that you want to glue, and glue them together. These are the columns of the ruin board. These are the tiles. They are marked with A, B, C, etc. So you can find the pieces quite easy. So we start from the bottom and work our way up. So this is the underside, and we have these circular pillars that you will see in the video here, and they will function as a foundation. So we're going to use the Gloopy PLA glue again. Put something on both sides and press it down. So we have these full circles to glue the tiles in where they are meeting all the 4 tiles, and we have these half tiles where we are only going to glue 2 tiles. So it's a little bit confusing, but it will make sense if you keep watching the video. Then, as you can see, the outside perimeter of the foundation, it has a ridge, and eventually you can glue the ridge onto the tiles. So the little columns under the tiles, they are going to stick to the foundation, and then the stairs are going to stick to the sides of the foundation, and the ridge, what we have just been talking about, will go under the tiles, as you can see right now. And now when we are done with the foundation and the floor, we're going to glue together the ruin itself. So this is the temple, the temple kiosk, as we could name it. The working time of Gloopy is not super long, so don't do 2 large areas at once. Let's say you have like a fair enough 2 to 3 minutes to actually do something with it before it already gets dried out a little bit. Make sure you are a little bit careful if you are going to use it on top of some foam, because it will burn right through any type of styrofoam. So you can see here it's going quite fast now. The roof is on. The temple itself is now almost done. We're going to put some ruined pieces here and there. And there you can see which one is the outside. So make sure you have the outside lined with the outside and the inside lined with the inside. Measuring the distance of these pillars is approximately 7 centimeters, guys. So they are approximately 7 centimeters away from each other. And here you have Rick cutting up some tiles. We want to use these tiles actually as a blending mechanism between the two boards. So here he's just going with some stone over the edges to bevel them. And later on you're going to see that we use these stones to make the transition between the two boards. So here we have primed them in a yellow brownish primer. This is what they look like now. And more foam and PVA glue, just pin them together. I do use just foam as the border edge, just to keep it lightweight. I'm not really fuzzing around with making MDF edges. Of course, MDF edges are much more durable than foam edges, but this is just a personal preference. We just decide to be careful with the boards and go for a lighter option instead of a little bit more heavy and more work option. So again, the ruin. So we have covered it in primer. It's very important to cover it in primer, of course, with any type of plastic, especially PLA. We made a tile grout mixed with PVA glue, the same as with the ruins, but then we used the Oasis beige as a tile grout. It will end up being giving it much more texture, and again all the printing lines will disappear as the mix of tile grout is going to act like a gap filler. And yes, again, there are some parts that you could share with your children, of course. And it's great fun to do this. So, yeah, this was a big help out from all sides. In total, this build was around 2 working days, maybe. We did it in the Easter weekend. So, let's say 2 people, or in this case, 2.5 people, working for 2 days straight. And yeah, let's say 16 hours, so it's 32 hours of man work, of labor into this build, so it goes quite fast. And that has all to do with the Geek Gaming Scenics, of course, because it's just a big time saver. And now we start with the modeling compound. And the modeling compound, I always mix in a little bit of PVA glue, just because it gives more strength to it and adhesiveness to the foam and all the other surfaces that you're going to put it on. And but this is personal preference. You don't have to, but I always do. So mix them up till you get a nice pasty feel. Then all the rock molds of gyps. So we make a combination of plaster and modeling compound to glue it together. And to finally glue the temple to the foam, I just use high-grade PVA glue. PVA glue is good for this, especially because a lot of things are already having primer, so the PVA glue will definitely stick to the primer, and then the PVA glue will stick to the foam. And yeah, getting back about the Geek Gaming Scenics ranges, they just speed up a lot of the process. I know in some cases you could do things by yourself, make it into batches and stuff, but again, it's a preference of your own. Do you have the time for it? Definitely do it, of course. And if you don't have that much time and you just want to get stuff done, base ready ranges are just perfect for that, because you can look from the back, from the range itself, and you can get a feeling of what you are going to get as a result, and then just throw it on there. And if you are going to miss out a little bit, like, oh, I'm just a little bit short of this product, you can just take something and immediately throw it on, instead of having to mix it up again by yourself. But again, perfectly fine if you're up to doing stuff yourself. It belongs to the hobby as well. Now we are just burning away a little bit on the foam, just to give it a little bit of an irregular surface. And the whole temple, everything from top to bottom, is going to be coated in a very fast, quick wash. This is a wash made by the burnt umber. It's just a brownish color. And then just take some paper towel and make some patterns, like some rough patterns. And here Rick and me are dry brushing, painting, finishing up these pieces. Rock molds, very easy. I definitely always prefer to work with plaster casting rock molds, as it's just one of the fastest ways to get good looking rocks, because they absorb a lot of your paint and you can work with washes, and working with washes just gets automatically a more natural result. So yellow, an orangey look. After this we're going to mix the orange and the yellow together to get a brownish look, and after that we're going to throw on a dark brown burnt umber wash, and we're going to end there, because I really like to have these rocks to look a little bit red, just to give it some color variation in the boards that we have created before. So yeah, this scene is gonna have red stones instead of the normally used gray stones. And here you see Rick is placing some tiles around, and you see that they overlap into the other board, just to get the transition done, that the boards also fit together. Like, you need to have some reference, not only that the rocks connect to each other, but I like to have some references in the middle of the table, that you can actually see that the boards actually belong to each other if you connect them to each other. But still, if you use them separately and as single boards, they still look very good and finished. Then PVA glue with a tile grout of the soil brown and a little bit mixed with the Oasis beige. It just gives you that not like a beachy look, but like, yeah, just a very light brown undercolor as sand. So yeah, mixing up these types of tile grout also gives you a lot of variations. You can put some browner areas and you can put some lighter areas here and there, as a matter of your preferences. Arid grasslands, and here it comes for what I've just been explaining you guys. I just looked around, like, looking what would look good, what would be your wish of your final result. Take the arid grassland, take the wasteland soil, throw it on, and you will have your stuff done. This is literally just throwing on stuff, and it goes really super fast. We use some kangaroo super glue here and there just to speed up the process of binding the stones together, and it just helps out in time. You can also do it with the mud sealant, but of course it takes some longer drying time. And we didn't want that, as we wanted to get this finished in the Easter weekend. And now just use some mud sealant spray here and there, go over it with the hoover, and apply some static grass. And now here, as we wanted to create some rubble throughout the scene of the temple, so I took the coarse rubble, mixed it in with some wash, just to make it a little bit more brownish. Let it dry, and then when we come back, the coarse rubble is not white anymore, but the coarse rubble is brown, and it will fit perfectly with the color that we wanted to use for this temple. And as you see, with the hot glue gun, we will glue these pieces together. Strong enough bond. Then high grade PVA and coarse rubble, guys. This is gonna be it. Decorating the temple, making it nice and beautiful, look realistic. So I put some high grade PVA glue first, then watered down PVA glue, just to make it easier to stipple it around and work it around, so it will not be just some splashes. So this is the coarse rubble colored. I do believe there's a little bit of tile grout mixed in, but to be honest guys, I'm not 100% sure, so I am apologizing for that. But it looks like there is some tile grout in there, just to give the finer rubble some body. So also with this you can fill up some areas, like here in the front you can see the column. And just to blend the column more in with the surrounding field around it, we put some rubble there as well. Seal it all off with just watered down PVA glue, because all of these rocks need to be really tight against the board. So in this case I don't use mud sealant spray, I use a pure PVA glue with water. So here we're going to blend a little bit over with the finer materials, with a finer sand. So again, putting some PVA on there, and with a watered down brush it's very easy to distribute the glue and just throw on some fine coarse rubble. And as this is a very fine coarse rubble, you can just use the mud sealant spray. So, the Colosseum. The inside diameter of the Colosseum is approximately 55 centimeters. So I put a little stick in the middle, as making it my center point. And then I will try to put every part of the columns, every piece of column, I will try to put it on 20 centimeters approximately. So you will get a nice circle. And this is these little sticks are going to be the references, because now we're going to drill some holes. In these holes we're going to put some bolts, and the bolts we are going to connect them to the Colosseum, just to make sure that the Colosseum will forever be on the board and will never fall off, as this board is eventually going to hang on the wall like you have seen. So now we are going to put modeling compound there, and the modeling compound will be attached to the bolts and to the Colosseum itself, and then it will be super strong and it will not come off. And on one of these longer bolts I just put tie wraps, just to get myself some real extra security that I will forever know that this will not come off. Then hide everything with modeling compound, and eventually we will blend this with the rest of the board. Water down PVA glue everywhere around. And we're going to be basing this stuff. And then seal it all off with some mud sealant spray. And we're going on to some scenery details. So some super glue, some roots, some vines, and it will just give some eye-catching details to the bigger and larger pieces. Alright, this is a new area for me. Creating some trees. As I really dislike the factory produced trees that I showed in the last video in the Viking settlement, I decided to make some trees of my own. And I saw a video of Geek Gaming of Luke, and he was showing that you could make trees with the tree foliage sheets. It's like a moss. And I went out to the wild, chopped off some branches of dead trees on the ground, and decided to make some cool trees. I think it worked out fine. It's a fairly easy process, nothing really difficult about it. No, it's not the best looking tree, but it's already a better upgrade than just the store-bought trees. Plus, I actually really enjoyed making them. So I made 2 of these trees with the tree foliage sheets, and underneath I just give them a thick coat, a thick layer of hot glue, so everything will have a good sturdy base. On top of this we are going to flock it a little bit, you will see it later in the video. It's just a very, very easy way to build trees. That's all it is. So next time we'll go to the next step and try to do some wire trees or some trees that look better. But for this board, for this part, I'm quite happy with it. So this is just the leftover stuff, the rubble of the moss, and we will use it later on the board. So flocking, just use hairspray, glue spray. This is actually something I had laying around, was like a 3D printer spray, doesn't really matter. Something that makes it all stick. That's it. These plinths are also available in the STL files, and it's very cool because on these plinths I just took a miniature from the Song of Ice and Fire game, painted it up in a statue, chopped it into pieces, and now it's a statue. So yeah, very nice and easy, good looking result. Alright guys, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and please let us know in the comments below what you think of it, and if we should make more of these boards, if you would enjoy it, and we are really happy to share it with you, and see you next time.
We hope you enjoyed this video. And if you did, make sure to give it a like and leave a comment. Subscribe to our channel to stay up to date on other exciting projects we take on. That's it for now. Thanks for watching and see you later.